guys. It's chisme time. So this situation happened when I was in 6th grade. There was this 8th grader in the school that would flirt with me all the time, and me being so young and naive, I liked it. And as time went on, I eventually caught feelings for him. We'll go ahead and call this 8th grader Aaron. So Aaron would always ask me for kisses, he would call me cute in the hallways, and if we passed by each other in the halls, he would just stare at me. After a while of that happening, one day Aaron and his best friend walked up to me and they gave me their Instagrams. Now, Aaron and his best friend gave me their Instagrams in the beginning of quarantine. So, of course, everyone was staying home after that, and I would text Aaron. By that time, we were already texting and calling each other for a couple of days, and I quickly began to realize how weird he was. While we were in quarantine, we were talking for a couple of days, and I quickly realized how weird he was. And I also realized that he was the biggest boy I have ever met. I also found out that he would ask for certain pictures from several girls, and he was always commenting hard eyes on the girls' posts. Luckily, I never said anything when he asked me to, but I was super close to doing it. Thankfully, I didn't, because if I did, he probably would have exposed me. So then this is where it gets kind of He asked me if we could do the you-know-what one day, and I agreed. Fast forward a while later, and I now have the child of a middle school boy, and he doesn't want anything to do with me at all. So moral of the story, if you're a 6th grader / freshman and the upperclassmen are showing interest in you, I promise you they are not interested in you at all. The upperclassmen just know that the younger ones are the easiest ones to get because they are so naive. And that's exactly how I ended up getting pregnant when I was in 6th grade.
My mom put my brothers and I in swim lessons when we were really, really young because she seemed scared that her children were going to drown more than the normal amount. Obviously, no mother wants that, but what my mom would do is she would put us in swim lessons very young, and then she would tell us horror stories about professional swimmers and divers who the water got the best of them, and then she would never let us do any water-based activities ever. I mean, she would let us do water-based activities when we were teenagers, but it was agreed upon beforehand that we would lie to her about it. So we would go to our mom and we would say, hey, we're gonna go on a hike, and she would be like, cool, but why is the canoe strapped to the top of the car then? And we would say, oh, that is for aesthetic. We just thought it looked cool up there. Then we would go play in the water. But when I was really young, like around 5, my dad took me and my cousins to the pool so that we could work on our swimming. And even though I'd had swimming lessons at this point, I still couldn't swim because I'm a human ball of anxiety. So my main move is to tense up and sink. I do that in life, I do that in water. So my parents got me a little yellow life vest with a seal on it that we called my floater, and I would wear it whenever I went to the pool. But on this particular day, I was hanging out with my cool cousin, and I was really excited she was paying attention to me. And she said to me and one of the other girls, hey, let's all jump into the water as far as we can at the exact same time. And I was so excited she was just paying attention to me. I didn't even remember to put on my life jacket, and I was just like, yeah! So my dad's all the way on the other side of the pool with one of the other kids, and he sees me jump into the water as far as a 5-year-old can without a life jacket. And he started sprinting across the pool to come save my life. He was like, I can't let my daughter drown. That would be so embarrassing. From my perspective, I remember jumping into the water and immediately realizing that something was wrong. Like I couldn't feel the weight of my life jacket on me that I was so used to. And so I turned around in the water and I swam back to the edge of the pool, and I looked up at my dad, who was now just standing there staring at me, and I was like, I forgot my floater. And I crawled out of the pool and I put on my jacket and I was like, I can't swim. And then I jumped back into the water.
When I was like 11, so I don't have many dating stories, but I've got one. So to set the scene, it's New Year's Eve. I'm like 15 years old and my parents are coming to pick me up at 11:30 because they know what happens at midnight and they're out to protect their little girl. I go to this New Year's Eve party, every other girl bails, so I'm sitting alone in the basement with 3 guys that I like barely know. I'm like 15 and there's this guy who's like 19. This guy comes up, I'm sitting on a chair and he sits on my legs so I can't move. I swear to God, this is real. He sits on my legs, we've got a movie on, it's me, these 3 guys. All of a sudden, he leans in, no preamble, and tries to kiss me. Being a good little Christian girl, this is what I do. This is him, making out tongue on my face, outside of my mouth. He pulls away, and he says, let's try that again. He attempts 3 times, and each time, I just sit there like this. Okay, and then it gets worse, and let me remind you, I was 15 years old. He takes out his wallet and hands it to me, and I kind of take it like, well, and we have exchanged no words by this point. I think I said something like, you didn't ask to do that. And months go by. I actually start talking to this guy. Why? We'll never know. But we're talking, we're dating, kind of. He picks me up one night, and I have kissed no one else by this point. So his second attempt to kiss me is this. We are in his car, hanging out, and in his glove compartment, there is an extremely old bag of fruit snacks. I didn't know it was old. He offers it to me. Never take candy from strangers. Anyway, he hands me these fruit snacks. I start chewing them. It's hard as a rock, and it gets stuck back in my wisdom teeth. I didn't even have my wisdom teeth out yet because I was a child. Anyway, I go, oh my gosh, it's stuck in like the back of my teeth right here. And he goes, oh, let me see. So I open up my mouth. Into my mouth, literally just sticks his tongue in the back of my mouth. I don't even know what to classify as my first kiss because both are so bad.
Am I wrong for turning down my stepmother's necklace to her during my wedding? My stepmother, I use the term just right here, but to me, she's the woman my dad is married to, has always wanted a daughter. She has 4 boys with my dad. She was my dad's wife to me and my sister. We lost our mom very young, but neither of us were willing to have a second mom. We were both clear about this from the jump. This bothered her, but she just decided that she would just have babies with dad and get as many daughters as she could. Then, after boy number 4, she was unable to have more, and I remember her telling us she hated us for denying her the opportunity to be a mom to daughters. Yeah, because that's your fault, right? That we didn't have a mom anymore and she would have loved us and done everything to be a good mom. Years have gone by since then and we really don't talk all that much to her, or our dad for that matter. My sister got married 4 years ago but only invited me and her husband's family. Now it's my turn and I did decide to have a slightly bigger wedding, and because of some pressure from extended family, I invited my dad and his family. Stepmother tried to give me her necklace for the wedding. She said it was something the women in her family wear on their wedding day and they pass it down. She wanted to be able to pass it down, but I said no to it. This upset her and then the whole extended family heard about it. Now I'm being told that since I invited her, I should be more willing to accept this, even though I invited them because of the pressure put on me to. They told me I should be willing to treat them like family and be kind and go out of my way for them as such, and it was cruel to turn down a sentimental item.
Story time! Make sure to grab a snack, sit back, and relax because this one is a crazy story. So I had a best friend in 7th grade until about my junior year in high school, and me and her did just about everything together and we were always hanging out. We'll go ahead and call her Chloe. So Chloe always had the nicest things. She had really pretty clothes, she had the newest cell phones all the time, and overall she was just very spoiled, right? And one of the craziest things that was given to her was a car at 14 years old. Yes, she was very young with a brand new car, but her stepdad taught her how to drive. So now the more I would hang out with Chloe, the more I began to realize that she treated her stepdad really bad. She would call him stupid in front of everybody. It didn't matter who was there. And I also noticed that she would yell at him really bad. It was almost to the point where she was screaming. But besides all of that, me and Chloe did end up being really close friends. And because we were really close friends, we would tell each other all of our secrets. And I remember this one time when we were hanging out, she ended up telling me one of her secrets. Just a trigger warning because it's kind of bad. So Chloe told me her deepest, darkest secret one day when we were hanging out. And that secret was that she would do the you-know-what with her stepdad in order to continue being spoiled by him. So the reason she had all these clothes, these new phones, and this car at 14 was because of what she was doing with her stepdad. And of course her mom didn't know, but she did tell me that one day her younger brother walked in on them doing it and she will never forget that day. She also ended up telling me that he was crazy for her. He was always jealous when she talked to other guys, whether they were her age or not, and that she just acted like she was his. Of course I was weirded out by this, but she just made it seem like it was something normal. And I will never forget the day that one time it was just me, her, and her stepdad in the car, and he jokingly asked if I would like to do what she was doing. And Chloe just laughed and she was like, nah. So then a few years later when we were 17, I convinced her to tell her mom, and she did. She told her mom that he was M-wording her. Mom kicked him out, so he doesn't live with them anymore, but he still goes to the family functions. We both talk every now and then after high school, but we both have our own families now and lost our friendship.
I'd have little bets with myself when I was a kid. One of these bets was that I would drink 1 glass of milk every single day for the rest of my life. This is not made up. Ask any family member. I was obsessed with milk. Milk was my favorite drink. I wanted a cow. I asked for my 10th birthday for a cow. I was so determined to do this that even while we were on vacation in Honduras, I was determined to keep it up and drink 1 glass of milk a day. Except milk in Honduras does not come in cartons. It comes in bags, which isn't that weird, but I found a bag opened in the fridge and I poured myself a glass of milk and I drank that milk. Now, milk in Honduras looks a bit different too. It's a bit yellow. It's just different. Kind of tastes different too, so I just chugged it down. I spent the rest of that week throwing up. Went to the clinic and threw up all over the clinic waiting room. I don't know what they did for me, but I was bedridden the rest of the week, thus ending my 1 glass of milk a day bet with myself. I was such a strange kid.